Hey, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. You're listening to the longest running superhero role playing game on Earth. I'm your host, the Game Master, and today we're talking about Spider Man and the Invasion of the Dragon Men, which was inspired by a story of the same name, but it wasn't from a comic book exactly. It was sort of like a comic book, but it was a read along record by Power Records. For a lot of kids my age, Power Records was our introduction to the superhero genre. I remember hearing the original story for the first time before I'd even started kindergarten. And the concept of dragons living in the sewers really appealed to me. I remember being really into the idea that there could be this whole other world right next door, and we had no idea it was there. It really ignited my imagination. And the invasion of the Dragon Men would have a massive influence on my game when I was in college. When Rifts came out and I saw the Rifts artwork, I think my memories of the Dragon Men were sort of reactivated. So we ran a ton of Dragon Men stories throughout the second half of the 1990s. But before we get into it, take a quick second to smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed, ring the bell for notifications, and be sure to leave us a comment. It helps with the algorithm, and we love hearing from you guys. We've got an awesome community here, and it's all thanks to you. Thanks first so much for being here. With all that said, let's dive in. The prologue to this one takes place in 1974 on a warm summer night on a hilltop far from the bright lights of New York City. A group of beginner students in astronomy gaze up at the northern stars. Their teacher is speaking. The easiest way to identify the constellations is to start with Ursa Major, the Big Dipper. Speaking of the Great Bear, by the way, John Redbridge is in the nearby forest. He has that necklace that Manwolf used to wear, and as a result, now he is a werebear. As for why he's a bear and not a wolf, that was outlined in Action Comics number 243, where they established that when it comes to lycanthropy, you turn into whatever animal best suits your personality. So in the case of the man wolf, obviously he was a wolf, while in the case of John Redbridge, he's a bear. In fact, the other superheroes refer to him as the bear. Anyways, as the astronomy teacher talks about the constellation of the Great Bear, it gets the attention of the werebear in the woods. The instructor continues. And over there, opposite the Big Dipper, lies Cassiopeia, Queen of the Heavens. One of the female students says, it looks like the letter W. Her teacher says, right. Now look carefully. Halfway between the Big Dipper and Cassiopeia lies Polaris, guiding star of our planet Earth. A boy named Jimmy quietly says to the girl next to him, hey, this is a drag. Come on, Sue, let's split and go over there by ourselves. Sue says, well, okay, but just for a little while. Their teacher continues the lesson. And there, a huge coil around Polaris, like a serpent, ready to strike, lies Draco, the dragon. One of the kids says, wow, it really looks like a dragon. And hey, look at those shooting stars. It's almost like the dragon is breathing fire right down at us. The teacher says, that's just a meteor shower, but it is unusually bright. One of the girls says, I swear they landed right there on the other side of the hill. In the forest, not far from where the bear is hiding, something else enters the woods, something sinister. The dragon men march through the forest, and Jimmy and Sue hide. Then we get to the main plot. The next morning, down at the Daily Bugle, publisher J. Jonah Jameson is furious. Listen to this. Mysterious disappearance of young group of students terrifies county. Baffles police. That's from the Clarion. And this. Reports of strange lights, UFOs, and weird creatures from space arouse fears and panic in the countryside. That's from the ledger. And what have we got? Not a word, not a picture. Then J. Jonah Jameson's secretary comes in. Mr. Jameson, these reports just came in, and you'd better take a look at them. Jameson reads the reports out loud. Invasion from space creatures confirmed. New York City may be their next objective. Eyewitnesses describe space creatures as dragon men. Parker? Yes, sir, says Peter Parker. Parker, this is the biggest story of the century. You get out there and you get me some pictures fast, or you're through. You got that? Yes, sir. Peter Parker starts heading outside. In the background, he can still hear J. Jonah Jameson bellowing at the other employees. Wow, is he mad? Peter says to himself. Dragon men. Oh boy, I never did go for all that space creature jive. As he reaches the street, Peter Parker says, Uh-oh, my spider sense is tingling. Just then, Mary Jane Watson walks up and says, Hey, Peter, where are you going in such a hurry? Oh, hi, MJ. Jameson sent me on this wild goose chase. He's really freaking out. Mary Jane asks if she can come along, and at first, Peter agrees to it, but his spider sense won't leave him alone. Something strange is going down. Everywhere I walk, it's like danger is walking with me, especially when I pass by a manhole or a sewer. Peter Parker, are you talking to yourself again? Peter says, Huh? Oh, sorry, MJ. Look, this thing's bugging me, so I'll talk to you later, okay? Okay, if that's how you feel. Peter quietly says to himself, I hated to do that, but I gotta get back to my pad and change into my Spider-Man outfit. Old Webhead's gonna take a closer look at the sidewalks of New York. Later that afternoon, in one of the myriad of subterranean passageways beneath the streets of the city, boy, I can think of 100 places I'd rather be than the sewer system of New York. But ever since I got here, my spider sense has been jumping like a yo-yo. And I haven't seen. Hey, wait a minute, there's a light up ahead. Gotta move in closer. Whew, would you look at that? A huge control room of some kind. I wasn't here before. And who or what is running those machines? Jumpin' Jupiter, it's the Dragon Men. And up on that platform, it's got to be the leader. And he's a dragon. An honest to goodness, fire breathing, smoke breathing dragon. Draco turns and says, Welcome, Spider Man. Come in. Spider Man says, Holy cow, he even talks like a man. How does he know me? I've got to play this cool. At your service, Mr. We can dispense with the pretense, Spider Man. Spider Man says, Not a bad rhyme for a dragon. Draco, king of the dragon men, has not come to Earth to bandy words with mere humans. Spider Man asks, Then why has Draco come? Draco says, Since you're about to die, I will tell you why. By midnight tonight, your time, the mighty Draco will be master of planet Earth. Spider Man says, Whew, from what I see here, he could do it too. Got to stall for time, learn his plan. Sounds like a tall order, even for a bragging dragon. Your insolence is beneath my notice, but the minute I activate this miniature model of my hydromagnetic energy deactivator, Spider-Man interrupts. Miniature? Why, it must be 20 feet long and 10 feet high. Precisely. This miniature HMD will instantaneously paralyze every energy source in the city. Unbeknownst to both Draco and Spider-Man, the bear is following the sounds of their voices and getting closer to their location. Spider-Man says, Every energy source? You mean people too? Obviously. Every living thing in its minuscule way is an energy source and will be deactivated. Paralyzed, as you might say. Then what? New York is just one small part of the world. The bear quietly moves into position. Draco replies to Spider-Man's question. When word of this event is heard all around your so-called world, I will issue an ultimatum that will bring Earth to its knees, subject to the rule of Draco. Spider-Man says, gotta stop him and his machine somehow. Draco says, but first I shall dispose of the one Earthling that might get in my way. You, Spider-Man. When Draco next speaks, you shall die. Draco prepares to use his breath weapon against the wall crawler when the bear surprise attacks Draco. Guess again, chucklehead, the bear says, his Hulk-like lunge knocking Draco into the sewer wall. Draco's flame breath narrowly missing Spider-Man. Wow, that was close, Spidey says. He's a walking flamethrower. Shot that flame out of his mouth 30 feet away. The bear doesn't waste his actions on words. Instead, he just keeps working Draco over, feeding him knuckle sandwich after knuckle sandwich. Spider-Man says, any enemy of Draco is a friend of mine. Just then, Draco shoots more fire at the superheroes, but Spider-Man's super dexterity allows him to flip around the fiery blast. You missed, old buddy. Want to try again? Spidey says. Spidey puts some distance between him and Draco. He has to lure Draco away from the machine to get a shot at it. Come on, I'm waiting for you. Or is the mighty Draco afraid to get off his pedestal? Draco fears no one. Bear says, then it pleases me to be the first, and he pushes the attack. For this round, his strength goes up, and he punches Draco in the voice box as hard as he can. Draco struggles to draw breath, and for the moment, he's unable to breathe fire at anybody. Instead, he raises his palms at the heroes and shoots fire out of his hands at them. Missed again, chum, Spider-Man says as he flips out of the way. Now's my chance to get some of Spidey's patented icky sticky web fluid all over the controls of that machine, like this. Whip. Spider-Man shoots webs all over the controls, keeping them from being used. I've deactivated the deactivator. What does that do for your flaky plan, Drakey baby? Draco gets his second wind. Dragon Men, destroy them! And with that, a dozen Dragon Men rush the heroes. Spider-Man says, there's too many of them. Bear says, no way, we've got this. Then the bear punches one, knocking its robotic head down the sewer tunnel. Spider-Man reacts. Robots? From outer space? Come on. The bear says some of his best friends are space robots. As he says it, he punches through the stomach of one, ripping it in half. Then the bear holds on to its flailing limbs, using them like a pair of oversized nunchucks. One by one, the robots are destroyed. Spider-Man says, come off it, Drakey, old chum. Who are you really? Draco explains that he used to be Demosthenes Q. Drake, winner of the Nobel Prize in Biology, lost on an expedition years earlier. Spider-Man asks if he got bitten by a radioactive dragon. Draco calls Spider-Man a freak and says what he did to himself was intentional. He says he injected reptile DNA into himself. The bear says he thinks Draco's full of crap, adding that reptiles don't generally shoot fire out of their hands and mouth. And with that, Draco shoots fire out of his hands and mouth, hitting the bear, who's fine, but his outfit is ruined. Spider-Man says, stop giving him ideas. But before he can finish his sentence, Spidey notices the flames are accompanied by poisonous fumes. Bear doesn't have the sealed systems power, so the fumes begin to get to him. I am going to enjoy tearing you idiots limb from limb. Now die. As Draco lunges forward, the bear kicks out a load-bearing wall, bringing the ceiling down on both him and Draco. The bear's body of 12 is as tough as steel. Draco, on the other hand, is much softer and more easily hurt, so Draco is finally knocked out. which brings us to the epilogue. Spider-Man hurriedly digs through the rubble, but only finds the bear under what's left of the faded red bricks. Where Drake was, Spidey just finds a tiny reptile crawling away. Well, I'll be. There's nothing left. Not a thing. What an end for Demosthenes Q. Drake. And that was it for this one. Like I said, I have a soft spot for this story. I can't remember now if it was the first time I ever heard of Spider-Man. It might have been. I also remember I had a Spider-Man coloring book where Doctor Doom is messing around with a greenhouse for some reason, putting weird chemicals in the water that they used on the plants. And I can't remember which of those two things I owned first, but either way, I am super nostalgic for both. And so, as such, I really enjoyed this adventure. I hope that you liked it too. If so, as always, smash that like button, make sure you're subscribed, ring the bell for notifications, and be sure to leave us a comment as it helps with the algorithm. And we love hearing from you guys. From all of us here at the longest running superhero role playing game on Earth, we hope you have a good one, and we'll catch you in the next adventure. Bye.